What's going on, everybody? It's Erica with Not Your Average EDC, and today we are going to talk about my favorite knife models, designs, etc. that have basically stayed in my collection. I have used a bunch of knives, tested a whole bunch of designs, and these are the ones that I don't see myself getting rid of ever, basically. I should always have some type of variation of these in my collection. The dogs are playing right next to me, so if you hear them, I apologize. The first one that we're going to start with is the Spyderco Delica. This is a knife that I've had a relationship with on and off for many years. It's one that I wanted to hate, but I ended up really loving, especially after testing this one in particular. The Delica is just a really good, strong, lightweight knife. I mean, there's not much to it. It's pretty dang near perfect aside from the lock. I wish that it didn't have a lock back, but aside from that, it's lightweight, it's strong, it's thin, and especially in this version with the Wharncliffe, I mean, this is just a ripper of a knife. This is really a slicey motherfucker. I have not really been able to test the tip yet. I just got this recently, but so far this is just a really good blade shape for my line of work. And this K390 is crazy sharp. So the Delica is pretty cheap, comes in a whole bunch of colors and steels. It's just one of those really good work knives. If you can get past the plasticky feeling, it's a winner in my books, 100%. So the Delica, I think I'll probably always have some type of Delica in my collection. Let's go on to the Para 3, since we're on Spydercos already. These are not all of my Para 3s, just a couple of them, but you'll notice why I have 3 of them coming into frame here. It's because they're all different. So we have kind of like an OG Para 3, we've got one that's modded with the skinny scales, and we've got the lightweight. Now, I don't prefer one of these over the other. I know that some people have completely ditched the original because of the skinny scales that are available now, which take that hump out. I don't notice a big difference in ergonomics, guys. Like, this is great, it's comfortable, it's thinner, it's slimmer, it's nice, it's really nice. But I will be honest, I do not notice a difference when I'm using like an OG Para 3. I just don't notice that hump really getting in my way or anything at all. It's just, they're all great. The lightweight one as well, which we have here with the plastic scales, again, just an absolute winner of a knife. It's super lightweight, only has the liner here on one side. They're just great little work knives. They're really thin, but not dangerously thin. Great slicers, easily modded. I love Para 3s. I have a whole bunch of them. Another knife that I fought for a long time because my first experience with one was not like the greatest, and then I revisited because you guys wanted me to test one, so I did, and I ended up falling in love with it, and now I've got a whole bunch of them. I will say with all these Spydercos, I don't know if you've noticed, but we've got sharpening choils modded onto every single one, because I will say, as much as I love Spyderco and I love the Para 3, you gotta throw a sharpening choil on there, otherwise you're screwed if you're sharpening freehand. So all of mine have little mods, but Para 3, really great EDC knife. Just an absolute winner. And again, the variety of steels and colors and all that you have access to is like infinite, really. So gotta love a good Para 3, right? Thanks again, Mike, for really pushing me to try one of these again. He was like the main guy that was like, no, you've got to try Para 3, it's my favorite, and then all of you jumped on the train, but Mike, you're the man. Continuing with Spyderco, the Native 5, guys. Another one that I really did not like the first time I used it. I had the G10 one, I hated it, I really hated it. And then again, you guys were like, no, try it again. Maybe try the lightweight. So here it is. And if you remember correctly from my testing of this knife, I was obsessed. I didn't want to stop testing it. If you're looking for something kind of like lightweight with a lock back, but maybe a little more robust than the Delica, the Native 5 lightweight is absolutely a good choice. You have the same strength that you get with the lock back from the Delica, and kind of like the same slim lightweight carry here. But definitely a more robust knife, more reliable, I would say, just in terms of blade shape and stuff. I mean, the Native 5 lightweight is just like kind of the ultimate EDC knife. Also, that forward choil is a game changer in comparison to the Delica. This makes it superior to the Delica, in my opinion, because you get that choil right there. Really able to choke up. A nice, slicey, but strong blade, because that blade shape just really gives you a lot to work with. I know that some people don't like kind of how rectangle these scales are, but it never, ever affected me in my entire month of testing. Never. I never noticed that this was like kind of a boxy knife. So this one absolutely will not leave my collection ever, especially the salt one. It just won't. Sage 5 lightweight. The Sage 5, I've had experience with the Sage series. I've had a Sage 1, I've had a Sage 3. Wasn't the biggest fan of those. They were a little too, this is going to sound crazy, but a little too nice for me, a little too like robust and just nice. And then I finally got the Sage 5 lightweight, and I was like, this is my style of knife. Lightweight, feels kind of cheap in a way. I'm obsessed with it. I love the Sage 5 lightweight. It's the heaviest out of all of my lightweight knives, which I have a whole video on that. This weighs in at the heaviest at almost 2 ounces, I think. No, I'm sorry, almost 3 ounces. It's like 2.9 or something. But yeah, I love this knife. I love the blade shape. Longer than some of the other ones that we've talked about. I wouldn't necessarily say more robust. It kind of, in my opinion, the Sage 5 is basically a different shaped Para 3. Like, in reality, these are not a ton different. It just has like a different blade shape. But they're very similar. You've got like a compression lock here. Yeah, some people just don't like the triangle shape on the Para 3, so the Sage 5 might be a better deal for you. But this one is so badass. I really like this. The handle, a lot of people don't like. They say it's like a little too long and a little too wide this way. It fills my hand great. Like, it's very, very comfortable for me. Definitely a winner, not going anywhere. Let's talk about, let's kind of go in a different direction here. So this is a Bullnose from GEC, and I really like this. This is just a cool knife. I love the lack of ergonomics. That blade shape is really cool and unique. It's just a wicked little slicer, a really good work knife, easily touched up because it's tool steel. I think it's 1095 carbon steel. Obviously, you know, we have a pretty old school design here. No lock or anything, but this is just a fantastic backup knife, or if you know that you're not doing a ton of crazy work, this is a knife that you could just slip into your shorts or whatever for the day, and it will do what you need it to do. It's a really nice little knife. I do not see this one going anywhere. Let's talk about some pretty hard use knives here, some Emersons. You guys know I love my Emersons. So we've got a Micro Commander and a Mini A100. I've used a whole bunch of Emerson designs. These two are the ones that have kind of like stuck with me so far. The Mini A100 will always be my most used and favorite hard use EDC knife. Guys, can you chill? The dogs are like just insane right now. This is just like the ultimate hard use knife, guys. If you use your knives as multi-tools, which this is a multi-tool, I don't care what you say, it is. This is an awesome little pry bar, poker, scraper. This one has done a lot of shit. And you can just really choke up on this. And it's so beefy. Like, it's just overbuilt to the max, man. This knife is incredible. And I really like the Micro Commander because as awkward as this blade shape is to sharpen, like I have to use a rod to touch it up, for slicing through feed bags and anything where you can kind of like get the blade underneath and then really start going, this blade shape is incredible because it grabs the material and pulls it like into this belly and like kind of moves it for you with this recurve. So if you work with a lot of feed bags, hay bales, twine, stuff like that, this is like just a wicked little shredder. And the ergonomics are killer. Like, you hold this in your hand, just completely locks in. That choil right there, this hump, 100% you are locked into that knife. This is a really cool little design. I will be testing this particular one at some point. But this one I've already tested a ton. This one has just been like ripped to shreds, which is amazing. I've had this one for a long time. Got the big monster disc on there. Super smooth from just years of use. Really can seriously recommend this if you use your knives hard. Emerson Mini A100 is like my ultimate hard use EDC knife, and I don't think that'll ever change. Speaking of hard use multi-tool EDC knives, which again, if you don't agree with me, I'm sorry, but especially this one was made as a multi-tool. Look it up. The 940, guys. This is just an incredible knife. And as I have kind of recently discovered, you can really have a lot of versatility with what you want this blade to be. If you keep it factory angle, all that good stuff, it's going to be a very robust knife, not the best slicer, but a good cutter and a really good, just robust multi-tool. But if you end up laying that edge back to 15 degrees per side, this becomes slicey. It really does. You just have to really blend that edge into the rest of the knife, make it a nice big fat bevel like this, 15 degrees, and this does become a nice slicey knife. It's also really toothy. These 940s, the S30V ones, they're just toothy. They're really good. The 940 is just a beast. It's a beast that I will never, ever get rid of. I've tested this one. I've beat the shit out of it. I've pried with it. I've broken the tip off and reprofiled it. Everything about this has just gone through the absolute ringer. And the 940 it's just an incredible knife. It's so incredible. That, I will never stop cherishing and recognizing the design of this tip, like how it thins out here, comes back out, and you have just the ultimate like flathead scraper pry bar. Like, I will never not appreciate the front end of this knife. It is just fabulous. That reverse tanto, gorgeous. And yes, the butt end is absolutely a hammer. I have videos on that too. That can be a hammer, 100%, or a pommel, whatever you want to call it. 940, guys. If you don't have one, you should. Mini grip. Totally slept on these days. 100%. The mini grip is so good. I've literally had like 35 of them come through my hands. I've got 2 because these blade shapes totally make the knife different depending on what you want. The sheep's foot is such a different monster compared to the drop point. This one is in M4 from the custom shop that I stripped years and years ago, and it's just gotten a whole bunch of patina, crazy different colors, insanely toothy. Oh man, this one's killer. That tip is really nice. I love how they thinned this out, but not too thin. You have a really nice piercing tip with a swedge, a false swedge, I guess I should say. Everything about this is just, it just screams use. It really does. I love the mini grip, and depending on, you know, what you want to use it for, you could always go with the sheep's foot, which you have more, in my opinion, closer contact to cutting if you do like chopping motions or a lot of like cardboard cutting. You have that belly that swoops up just a hair, and this just glides. Now granted, this is the S30V, kind of like newer version, so this is flat ground, not hollow. The Spidey hole is just incredible on this one. Like, if you don't like the Para 3, if there are things about the Para 3 that you're just not a fan of, I don't know, man. Maybe check out a mini grip. It's got, especially if you get the sheep's foot, nice big Spidey hole. Got a much different blade shape here. Kind of like an elongated, really nice little chopper. You've got a wicked reinforced tip. It almost reminds me of like a bill of a bird. It's like a seagull or something. It's just, this is a really nice work knife, especially if you do a lot of cuts like that. That tip, fabulous. Just really a really good beater work knife right here, 100%. Sticking on the train of Benchmades, let's just look at the Bug Out. You guys know I love the Bug Out. Best EDC knife in my opinion. Not talking about like hard use multi-tool EDC, I'm just talking plain old best EDC knife. Best bang for your buck, 100%. The Bug Out. Some people have doubts about this one, and I don't, because I've used it, I've abused it, and it just hasn't failed me yet. I love the Bug Out. I love the lack of ergonomics. You can get 8,000 different scales if you don't like the grivery. I love it. Crazy lightweight, coming in at like, what, 1.81 ounces, I think? The lightest knife in my entire collection in terms of folders. This thing is a beast. This is one of the knives that when I was doing renovations, I just beat the crap out of. And it never once failed. This is also the knife the other day that I like purposely dulled on a coffee cup, just like pushed the blade into the bottom of a coffee cup, and I reestablished this S30V edge in under 10 minutes. That's all on tape, by the way. It's a few videos back, I think, but the S30V on these Bug Outs and the thinness of the blade, like you can literally trash your edge, have it completely dull, and bring it back to razor sharp in under 10 minutes. Freehand. Definitely a keeper. Just a great knife. This is really seriously a great EDC knife. The last Benchmade that we're going to look at is one that nobody really talks about, man. And it's because they mislabeled this. They put it in the stupid Hunt series, and it's like, why would you do that? This is an EDC knife. Can you hunt with it? Of course you can. Of course this is a great game processing knife, but how many people are actually going to bring a folder with tiny springs out into the field and process birds with it. I don't know. Or deer or whatever. Like, not too many people. A fixed blade is your best bet. This is a really nice EDC knife. It's about as long as the 940, if I can get it out for comparison here. Definitely a long knife. The mini Crooked River. Yeah, so even this being the mini Crooked River, it's not the full size, it's still got a good amount of length on the 940, which the 940 is a long knife. So this is a really long knife. And the full size is just way too much. But the mini, oh, so good. So well done. The stonewash that they did on this is really neat. Just nice, simple, elegant, slim. None of that stupid orange that they did. This is from the custom shop. I just put all satin hardware on it. It looks much better. Those wood scales, beautiful. Nice long blade, kind of like the old school blade shape there with a nice piercing tip if you do a lot of that. You guys know I love to pick my knots on my produce bags at work. This is one of those tips that will absolutely do that for you. This one's just fantastic. That's about as big as I can go for my EDC knives. I really can't go much longer than this. I can't. It's just, that's my max right there, the mini Crooked River. The last one in the lineup, a good old Sebenza. We'll end it on a beautiful note with what a lot of people say is the best EDC knife ever made. I can agree for the most part, I guess. A small Sebenza, 21, 31, what have you, whatever you want. These are fantastic. Hollow grind, which is really cool for an EDC knife. You've just got a beast of a lockup, the most elegant, slim design ever. Super easy to take apart, maintain, put back together. Hi, Kane. We really need you to not come into the camera here. I would say that the thumb studs are just a complete joke. Like, they really should redesign these because they suck. But aside from that, the knife is just, it's just great. It's a beast. It's, it looks like a gentleman's carry, but it's absolutely a work knife. I beat the crap out of this thing during my month-long testing. This one really got a lot of use. Lockup is nice and solid, even though it does move up and down a little bit, but that's because of that ceramic detent ball. But nice sturdy lockup. It's not going to fail or anything. Just crazy thick titanium. Really nice jimping too. And just the feel of it in your hand. This is a really nice EDC knife. A really nice work knife. That's the last one though. That's the last folder. I don't have any other models really in my collection that I use. These are all the ones that I love to carry, I love to use. I don't really have anything other than this. I have like a Benchmade sequel, but that one, it's not available. So there's not like the biggest point in mentioning it because you can't get it. But these are all the ones that are, for the most part, available in one configuration or another. But that's it, guys. Let me know down in the comments what has made the cut in your collection, what you think is the best EDC knife for you, what you do with your knives. Are they multi-tools? Are they just cutting tools? If you've been able to pick up any one of these, especially these two, let me know. The mini A100s are just beast. That is all I've got for you guys today. I'll see you soon. Go use your shit. Love you all.